everyone, and welcome back. If you are studying for the HESI A2 exam, today we're going to be diving into the anatomy and physiology section and talking about exactly what you need to study in order to get a great score on that section of the exam. I'm also going to be talking about specific topics that are usually emphasized more on the anatomy and physiology section so that you can know which topics to study a little more heavily. So let's dive right in. First of all, let's start with the foundation, which is body organization and homeostasis. First, you need to memorize the levels of organization. The correct order is this: cell, tissue, organ, organ system, organism. If the test asks which comes after tissue, then your answer would be organ. Now let's talk about homeostasis, which is one of the most important concepts on the anatomy and physiology section. Homeostasis means the body's ability to maintain stable internal conditions, such as body temperature, blood pressure, and blood glucose levels. The most common way the body maintains homeostasis is through something called negative feedback. Negative feedback works by reversing a change. So for example, when your blood sugar rises, your pancreas would release insulin to lower it. Another example, when your body temperature increases, you sweat to cool down. These are both examples of negative feedback. Now there's also positive feedback, which amplifies change. This is less common than negative feedback, but it's still tested. Examples would be childbirth contractions and blood clotting. Next section is cells and transport. So let's review the cell quickly. The nucleus is the control center and it holds DNA. The mitochondria produce energy in the form of ATP. Ribosomes make proteins. The Golgi apparatus packages and ships proteins. The endoplasmic reticulum transports proteins and lipids. And lysosomes break down waste. Now let's move over to cell transport, which is a very heavily tested topic on the anatomy and physiology section. There are two main types of transport: passive transport and active transport. Passive transport does not require energy. This would include diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. Osmosis is extremely important. With osmosis, water always moves from a low solute concentration to a high solute concentration. In a hypotonic solution, the cell swells. In a hypertonic solution, the cell shrinks. In an isotonic solution, the cell stays the same. Active transport requires ATP and moves substances against the concentration gradient. A common example is the sodium-potassium pump. Now let's look at tissues and integumentary system. There are four main tissue types that you need to know: epithelial tissue, which provides protection and absorption; connective tissue, which supports the body and includes bone, blood, and fat; muscle tissue, which produces movement; and nervous tissue, which controls communication. Now let's talk about the skin, or the integumentary system. The skin helps with protection, temperature regulation, vitamin D production, and sensation. You should know about the three layers of skin: epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. There are often burn-related questions which involve these layers on the anatomy and physiology section. Now let's take a look at the skeletal system. The skeletal system provides support. It protects organs, produces blood cells, and stores minerals like calcium. There are four major bone types that you need to know. There are long bones, such as the femur; short bones, such as the carpals; flat bones, such as the skull and sternum; and irregular bones, such as the vertebrae. Joint types are also important. Here are a few examples of joint types. First, the hinge joint, which is found in the knee and the elbow. Ball and socket joint, which is found in the shoulder and hip. A pivot joint, like the neck, where your head rotates. With bones, it's important to understand calcium regulation, which is controlled by hormones. The parathyroid hormone will raise calcium levels, and calcitonin lowers calcium levels. So make sure you understand that as well. Now we're going to take a look at the muscular system. There are three major types of muscle tissue. First, skeletal muscle, which is voluntary and attached to bones. Second, cardiac muscle, which is involuntary and only found in the heart. Then smooth muscle, which is involuntary and found in organs and blood vessels. For muscles to contract, it requires ATP and minerals such as calcium, sodium, and potassium. So study up on all of those different areas for specifically the muscular system. Now, the cardiovascular system is extremely important to study and understand. It's one of the most tested sections on the anatomy and physiology section of the HESI A2. So you must know the path of blood through the heart. When I took the HESI exam, there were several questions that were related to the order that it flows through the heart. So make sure you understand blood flows from the body into the right atrium, then to the right ventricle, then to the lungs. From the lungs, it goes back to the left atrium, then to the left ventricle, and then back out to the body. Now you want to understand the difference between arteries and veins. Arteries carry blood away from the heart and usually carry oxygenated blood. Veins carry blood toward the heart. They have thinner walls and contain valves. You want to study up on blood itself. Blood has four main components. There's red blood cells, which carry oxygen, white blood cells, which fight infection, platelets, which help with clotting, and plasma, which is the liquid portion of blood. Blood pressure basics are also important. You want to understand systolic pressure, which is the top number, diastolic pressure, which is the bottom number, and a normal reading is about 120/80. Now let's take a look at the respiratory system. Gas exchange happens in the alveoli of the lungs. Oxygen moves into the blood and carbon dioxide moves out. The diaphragm is the main muscle used for breathing. When the diaphragm contracts, that's when you inhale. So understand how the diaphragm functions and how that impacts your lungs with inhalation and exhalation. Hemoglobin is responsible for transporting oxygen in the blood. Now let's look at the digestive system. This is another very heavily tested system on the anatomy and physiology section. You must know the order of food movement. So food travels from the mouth to the esophagus, to the stomach, to the small intestine, to the large intestine. I also remember having these questions on my exam. The stomach mainly digests proteins. The small intestine is where most nutrient absorption occurs. The large intestine absorbs water. The liver produces bile and detoxifies the blood. The pancreas releases digestive enzymes and insulin. The gallbladder stores bile. And then it's important to know these enzymes that are part of the digestive system. Amylase for carbohydrates, protease for proteins, and lipase for fats. The urinary system is the next one we'll look at. So the urinary system includes the kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra. The nephron is the functional unit of the kidney. The nephron filters blood, removes waste, and regulates fluid balance. Urine formation happens in 3 steps. There's filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. Now we'll take a look at the nervous system. The nervous system has 2 major divisions. There's the central nervous system, which includes the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which includes nerves. The autonomic nervous system is also tested on the anatomy and physiology section. So the autonomic nervous system has the sympathetic system, which controls fight or flight, and the parasympathetic system, which controls rest and digest. Neurons have 3 main parts. Dendrites receive signals, and axons send signals. Now let's look at the endocrine system. The endocrine system releases hormones. Important glands include the pituitary, thyroid, adrenal glands, and pancreas. The pancreas produces insulin and glucagon. Insulin will lower blood sugar, and glucagon raises blood sugar. These are very, very important to study up on and understand for the exam. So as a quick synopsis, just to cover what is the super crucial sections that you want to understand before you take the exam, you want to understand the heart blood flow, osmosis and tonicity, the digestive system and its functions, hormones, and specifically insulin, what it is and how it functions, homeostasis in the body, arteries versus veins, and nephron function. These are the topics on the anatomy and physiology section that appear most often and that you really want to have super solid before you go in to take your exam. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and like down below, and you can subscribe to this channel for lots of review videos and a lot of tips and tricks for taking your nursing entrance exam and for scoring high scores on your exams.